in the Broken Hill City Council chamber, we're talking with Dave Gallagher, we're talking with Mayor Winston Kai, and also Councillor John Groendyke, and 3 of our city councillors in the Broken Hill region have been discussing with us the NBN and what it means and how we're going to improve our community through technology and really embrace. Mayor Winston Kai, could you tell us please, what does the NBN mean to Broken Hill in the future?
Well, look, it's an exciting stage that we can actually lead into. We need to be, I think, part of the leading group in NBN. From a community point of view, the communications from council out to the community, making sure that they're understanding where we're going to and how we actually can work for them. But more importantly, I think, is actually making larger contact with the world, making that we actually can create this as a business hub. We actually take technology from our film industry, our tourism industry, and our health industry, making sure that the people in Broken Hill do not lose contact with the rest of the world, and we actually are competitive, strong and innovative.
So John, we've got lots and lots of excellent tourist attractions in Broken Hill. You're in the tourism business. Tell us, what will tourism benefit? How will tourism benefit from the NBN?
Well, I think more and more we're finding that our tourist market pretty much lives on the internet. And they do a lot of their bookings online these days, they do a lot of their research online, and I think we have a huge opportunity here to provide information to our tourists as they travel around Broken Hill, give them the option to participate as part of the learning of what we're about, standing in front of, let's say, Trades Hall, getting information on that, for example, through their telephones. And also, I guess, getting a broader picture about, well, what else can we do in Broken Hill? Where can we go? What is available here too? Because I think we have so much on offer that any tourist that comes here and participates in 1 or 2 attractions misses out on so many more. And part of my frustration is, how do we communicate that effectively to those tourists? And not even at the point where they're here, at the point of where they're researching to come here, or they're looking for things to do in Australia, whether they're domestic or international, to be able to really give them everything that they need to be able to plan their trip and take full advantage of everything. At the end of the day, from an economic point of view, our tourists are here for on average 3.7 days. If we can give them the information and communicate effectively with them so that they have a reason to stay an extra day or 2, then the millions and millions of dollars that means to our economy is going to make a huge difference to our well-being and our employment.
Dave, we've got some attractions in Broken Hill, including the film studio. We've got many art galleries. How do you think these businesses down the track can benefit mostly from the NBN?
Well, I reckon we should try to get this as quick as we can. Like, it's going to put Broken Hill out there with the world. We're very, very iconic in this town. We need that sort of broadband NBN. We need it out there. And I believe that to get a lot of tourism back in Broken Hill, which we do thrive on. We need it, and I think that it's going to be fantastic for the town. Not just the town as far as the economic side, but just to show that people of Australia what Broken Hill is all about. So I reckon it's going to be great.
What about the mining heritage? Anyone can join in here. We've got a lot of mining heritage here in Broken Hill. How can the mining heritage be shared with the rest of the world using technology? Are there some things you can think of that stand out?
Well, just if we go back to our heritage, Broken Hill being now in the phase of being nationally heritage listed as a whole community, where the whole community will be heritage listed. So taking that to an extra step and having the entire world understand that this is where Australia, was jumped off the sheep's back into the mining and that industries. So the development of mining in Broken Hill, we over the next 15 years will still have stable mining. Getting an input into getting people to here stopping that fly in, fly out. We have a community that's been based for 128 years on stable community. So you can actually work, eat, live in the community and earn still fairly good money. So I think selling that message to the rest of the world and the mining community will be a huge benefit to Broken Hill.
Can I just say also that, you know, as the mining industry here continues to grow and thrive, which it's starting to do, and they're starting to put forward, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50-year plans, it becomes harder and harder from a tourism perspective to highlight that to those people that come here, because there aren't any tours available, because they've closed the touring to open up the mining for development. So what we need to then start looking at, well, how do we then communicate to people what mining here is all about? And then we start looking at virtual mining, right? Virtual mining tours, which through NBN, through the technology that we're doing, will be available. At the moment it's not. You know, and so people coming up to the line of load and having a look at, well, there's all these shafts and this mining activity. Well, what does it mean? We can't do the Delpress tour anymore. You know, so how do we do that? And I think that's one of the most important things for the future, because I don't see that the mines are going to reopen for tourism. So you've got a mining town that doesn't have a mining attraction. We need to create that in the virtual world.
So the lack of this technology is really limiting our potential. Dave, have you got some ideas perhaps in other areas of the community, maybe health and education, where we're currently limited because of the lack of the high technology options?
Yeah, I can see it. Like at the moment, as we said before, we have moments where things freeze, and we have moments where we have our cans and we communicate with the outside world, as we say. A lot of places. I think it's going to be faster, quicker, and the technology that we've got is going to be far greater for our children and for the people of Broken Hill themselves.
Yeah, so no more frozen screens on Skype.
Unfortunately, we do get it, but that's technology. But with this NBN, it's going to be quicker, faster, and more clarity. It'd be fantastic.
And I think the exciting part about all this is to think about where we were 10 years ago and where we were 20 years ago, and consider, well, what are we going to be like in another 10 years' time if we get this on board now? You know, we can't wait another 8 or 9 years, because we'll be left behind the rest of the world. We're in a regional centre, and we have to understand that because of that, it presents to us many, many difficulties in terms of getting a message out there, communicating with the outside world. If we're left behind, we're going to be left looking back at this and saying, well, you know, where we were 10 years ago, where we are now, is going to be, you know, not going to happen over the next 10 years. I think we need to consider that and really focus on having it available so that we can look at it from 10 years, you know, from 10 years from now, and say, well, have a look at what the opportunity is.
I think one of the things, listening earlier on, you know, we talk about NBN creating innovation. It seems to me that you're already doing a lot of innovative things in Broken Hill, such as the film industry and some of the New South Wales, University of New South Wales initiatives. Tell us a little bit about maybe one or two of those and how the NBN will, you know, help that even more.
Well, the film industry, quite obviously, is an important part. We've had a history of 30 years of filming in and around Broken Hill as a location. So taking it to the next step with the film studio, taking that then to a whole precinct where filmmakers can actually come, they can actually produce their films, but more importantly, developing as a learning excellence. You actually could have the ability of bringing students from not only Australia, but you know, we could even have Bollywood students coming out here, learning the technology, learning their craft in an isolated community that is safe, happy community, but also gives the experience of a big capital city. I believe that is very, very important from a health point of view, from a student's point of view, and also from a filming point of view. So we can actually attract more people into this community that perhaps taking our brain drain, our up-and-coming students, when they go to university and they leave the town, maybe we can actually reverse that by bringing people into town to make sure that we have that age gap filled.